All right, what's up, guys? Goldbanks here, back with a tutorial s kind of video, whatever. Basically, um, this video is inspired by this Twitter clip that I probably played in the beginning, and um, it's also inspired by me watching Broski. He's probably going to drop a video explaining like his experience with Marissa or whatever, and he does have a good neutral, and his defense is good. But I think one thing that he was really messing up with, not saying he's messing up, but like he just his combos wasn't right. And I feel like I see it so often even when I'm watching like Marissa's in tournaments and stuff. And I just want to go over like I feel like in the quickest and shortest way the basics and how to improve your combos and make sure you're doing the right routes and stuff, right? So I'm gonna put this on counter hit for this one. Counter hits do a little bit more damage, but it shouldn't. All right. So basically, basically, a lot of you guys, you launch like this, right? So let me take this out. So I see a lot of this, right? If you're going for max damage, you hit the uppercut into this, into this, into this, and then you get your 32%, right? And that's with the little micro walk to get that last little bit. So without that last little bit, right? So let's say you had a little bit less bar. Then if you had a little bit less bar, this is like max bar, but this isn't realistic. Really, it would be something like this, and you would just burn yourself out at 30, basically 32%, right? What you're really supposed to be doing if you're cashing out is going for drive rush cancels, right? So you would go for 35%, right? So from 32 to 30, basically 36%, you really get 30, like that's around 36% or 35, 90, 35, 36%, right? But then when you're towards the corner, you also optimally want to be routing into back heavy punch, right? So I mean routing into OD quad as early as possible. So you would be doing something like this. Something like that. That's 40% for the cash out, right? And then there are like other scenarios, like depending on how they hit the wall or whatever, depends on what you do off of that. So that's 41. You know what I'm saying? So that was an example for that, right? So that's the lights are basically done. Well, that's not all the lights are done, but whatever. And then the mediums, I see a lot of this. It'd be like, oh, damn. I should just start in the corner, right? I'm bugging, because the corner combo would be different. So it would be this, into this, into this, into this, into that, into that. For 34%, right? Where you really should be that's 37% basically for that, right? And you also, right, so basically off of most cancels you route into back heavy punch as early as possible. So or you can like optimally you want to route into this, right? Standard medium kick, because this is +8 and +8 goes into the 8 frame and then you can loop it. So you would be doing this same thing if you hit this towards the knee, you'd be doing that. But with with the standing medium punch target combo, right? If you hit it, it doesn't route into this because it doesn't have enough. It's not plus enough, so you have to go back heavy punch. right? And then from back heavy punch, you go into standing medium kick, and then into your ender, right? But then there's another way, like if you need to build meter, or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, this. I started out with doing this, and even that is better. So it's like if you're cashing out mid screen or close to the corner or whatever, it's better to spend. Drive rush cancels are always better unless you're in like a specific situation where like you have 2 bars and a half or something like that. Then you would burn the 2 and then spend the last portion on a cancel or whatever, right? So basically, same thing with this, right? But with forward knee, you would go forward knee. Wait, this combo is good if you're trying to build meter and stuff. But if you can, or if you know you have meter to spend, like I said, going into back heavy punch is always back heavy punch. OD quad is probably the best. Or if you hit this knee, you can go into knee, and this way you'll be even closer to the corner, and then you'll get your combo. Right? And then similarly with let's say you hit a drive impact, right? Optimally, you want to be going into back heavy punch, or whatever. And a lot of people do something like this or whatever. Not that. That's not the combo that y'all. Really, you want to be doing this. If you're trying to kill, you be doing this into that, and getting 40%, right? But if you're close to the corner in any way, if you're close to the corner anyway, you should be doing straight charge back heavy punch into this, into something in the corner. I didn't go over this yet, but like, basically you do stuff off the wall. So if you're close to the corner, go charge back heavy punch into this. If you're really not close to the corner, but like you're at least past the halfway mark, you could do like this. Like that. And you want to do this. So another thing is when you're getting these like punish counters and stuff. So like if you're getting punish counter this, that's the type of combo you want to be looking for. Don't go into this. That was 47%. They'll go into this. Into this. You missed out on 7 whole percent. You know what I'm saying? That's like a lot when you add it up throughout the course of a game or whatever, right? So, if you hit this, just keep looping it on punish counter. When you hit a crouching medium punch punish counter or something, you have the option. To do like this. Something like that. Or if you know it's a punish counter, or if like you shimmy somebody, you just go into OD quad, you can chase it down with something like that. Or whatever. And then for another thing that I want to say is that if you do by any chance like launch somebody, you can still pick up with OD quad in a different way. So instead of you doing something like this, into this, to have 39%, you could do get 41%, but you saw how much gauge I had left. I had way more gauge, right? So that's another thing you can experiment with. So when you launch with OD Dima, you can get medium Spartan kick. If you can get medium Spartan kick, that means you can get OD Spartan kick. So depending on how far they are from the wall, you can either get medium quad, you can get light quad, you can get heavy, or you can get a heavy gladius, a medium gladius, a light gladius. I said all of that wrong. Or sometimes you can get a the safe jump, depending on the spacing. Like if you get good at reading it, it's risky or whatever, but I do it. Sometimes I go for it if I want the safe jump. So sometimes if I hit this right here, like around this area, I'll do something like this. Into heavy. So you saw I had a significant amount of gauge left. You know what I'm saying? For 42%. Instead of me doing like something like this for 40%. So experiment with it, get comfortable with getting wall combos and stuff like that. So like what you're comfortable with. So the basic rules that I laid down for you, I mean I might put it in like a little in the description or whatever. But I could have made it a cute thing. I should have made it a cute thing, like 5 rules that you always gotta remember, but whatever. Right? And then the same for the big damage, right? The most consistent max damage combo that you're gonna get is this, right? So if you hit this move, you go into knee, right? But the knee off the wall splat, right? Off the wall splat, the knee and back heavy punch do the same things. They have the same properties, but they just cover different ranges. So there's times where you can walk up and knee, but you can't walk up and back heavy punch because of the range. Sometimes you're too close and the knee has too long of a startup and you can't get the knee, so then you got to hit back heavy punch. Sometimes you're close enough, you're too far for knee, so you have to do drive rush back heavy punch. Sometimes you're too far for drive rush back heavy punch and you have to do drive rush knee. But they all have the same properties. So once you learn the properties, you're good, right? So once you hit a drive rush back, once you hit like a drive rush back heavy punch, you can go into something like this, into that, right? And it's the same thing with drive rush knee. So if you hit him from further away, you can catch him with a drive rush knee and go into the same thing, right? But then there's like another aspect of something that I like to do where I do this. I finish the knee combo and then do this into a plus 13 reset, right? The plus 13 reset is a guaranteed command grab or a guaranteed knee, right? On Oki, or you can charge back heavy punch. And it's a 13 frames. It's a 7-frame gap. It's a 7-frame gap, but a lot of people aren't expecting a reset right there after that big ass combo. So you can get it off or whatever. But then there's like newer combos that you can work on, right? That would be something like it's like very spacing dependent. But basically you have to be able to cancel the knee as early as possible. Oh my god, ain't no way I dropped it all the way at the end. Right? And this is like stuff that we discovered on stream. And this is like her max damage combo, right? So you get 82% in CA, which is crazy. That's like super huge damage, right? And then also, if you hit from really far, right? There's also this combo. Dang. If you hit from really far, I'm trying to remember the combo. It's it's weird. Like I know the combos when I'm in the situation, but like putting the person in the situation for the combo makes it a little harder. Was it that? Oh yeah, it was that. It was that. It was that. Okay, I remember now. It'd be like this. Right there. So that's also like if you're really far from the corner, you see like that's like max damage from max range with max meter, right? Because you're so far that you did the most distanced option, which would have been towards knee. So you did a drive rush towards knee. Doing drive rush towards knee means that you're far. That means that you weren't in range for a flat back heavy punch. You weren't in range for a flat knee. You weren't in range for a drive rush back heavy punch. So you had to go all the way for a drive rush knee, right? So you can hit these from pretty far, and like it's a game where like look at that. Look how far I hit that from. Damn, my nigga forgot the combo. It's something but like, you know, just get in the lab and practice these combos, man. Y'all gotta get in here and do these combos so you're maxing out your damage, because you have to make your hits count as like for as much damage and as much damage as possible when you have these opportunities and stuff. So yeah, and then also there's like resets and stuff off the wall. I'm gonna keep it pretty short here. Also, if you if you hit this move, right? There's another thing, right? A lot of people, if they hit this move, they go into the whole shebang. This, right? So you got 42%. You got 42% on the lower end, right? Really, oh my god. Well, if you ended there, you got that was 39%. So 42 versus 39, that was 3%, but you ended with 3 bars left. You get what I'm saying? It's not even worth spending it. Like it's not even worth spending it unless you're about to kill, or if you really need to kill or whatever. But even if you need to kill though, it's like if you hit this move, you can always just make sure you're confirming into this. Oh, you can't do that. I mean, you probably could at some weird range, but you know, into that for 50%, right? And if you're too far for that, then you can drive rush and then try to walk up. You can try to drive rush and then walk up and do it, right? But if you're too far for that, you can drive rush again and then back heavy punch into it for 42%. And you got your 42%, but you ended with 2 bars. I finished that combo. I still had 2 bars left. Why don't I just put this on standard? You ended with 2 bars left instead of having a cash out right there. Or you could do, you do light gladius for 44. So that's 44%. That was just me finishing with the 2 knees and then light gladius, right? So doing the 2 knees into light gladius is usually the most inexpensive way to get a lot of damage for the most part. So just keep that in mind. Doing 2 knees into light gladius is usually how, if you don't want to spend it that much meter, is a good way to get some meter off. And if you want to spend a little bit more after that, if you want to spend a little bit more after the knees, you just drive rush. But this move also has different properties. So like this move, you can't do all of that extra wall stuff. Like you can't do back heavy punch into this. And you can't do, like, when you hit this, it's no pickup off of that. So when he's that high in the air, you have to heavy gladius, right? So like I said, if you hit these moves, the best thing you can do is back heavy punch, double knee, heavy gladius. Well, I did it late right there, but same thing if you hit this in the corner, or if you hit this on drive rush cancel. It's like uh back heavy punch, or this one. So it's just back heavy punch, heavy, right? And then also when you hit when you do Oki or whatever, if you're doing this and you hit that, that's plus 17. Plus 17 goes into the knee, right? So that's how the Lily ended up dying, because I got this. I that was weird. I don't know. I was just doing some bullshit, but it was knee, back heavy punch, knee, uh, uh, like that into level 3, and basically you get what was that, 70, you basically get like 75% off of that, right? And then how I knew she was gonna die was that I know that this does like 25%. Yeah, so that does 25%. The other one does 75 or 76 or something like that. um so it just basically, I knew she was gonna die with the max damage combo at the end of that. So just those two things. So you gotta keep in mind, yo, when you learn these max damage combos, you start to realize, yo, you can kill people very early. You can end these rounds in these games super early. Sometimes it only take a perfect parry combo and a grab, and they're in kill range. So you gotta be on it. Damn, this shit 20 minutes. God, how I get to 20 minutes, man? I was trying to make this. All right, whatever. It's over. Like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, enjoy. If y'all got anything you want me to go over specifically, if you want me to break it down in a better way or whatever, let me know, and I'll come back and I'll show you guys. I'll do something else. But that's it for now. And yeah, catch me in the stream, Twitch, all that good stuff. Catch up.